Good afternoon, one and all. In the connection of the webinar series, that sir, we are organizing webinar on regular basis. Today we have the stalwarts with us, Sisodia sir, Sandeep Sisodia sir. You know that the before a few days he also addressed to you and our students and the participants on another media topics. So today's we have webinar on on a future strategy for media innovations and the trends from the artificial intelligence to virtual reality. This is the today's webinar topic, and today we have the chief guest with us, Sri Sandeep Sir is the eminent journalist, and she is started as a professional journalist in 2001 with the world first Hindi portal webdunia.com, and got opportunity to work with the top India Deutsche Welle Hindi and Nai Dunya daily newspaper as a team leader, coordinator, AGM editorial and content operation and the digital head. And partially, he also participated in the various international media summits, forum, and the workshop on the various issues and topics in the Germany, Netherlands, and India as a speakers and panelists and the participants. And he's also industrial trainer for the digital media marketing. And he's also social media consultant, and he's also guest faculty in the an examiner and the trainer and online and the digital media for the UGC, DAVV, RGU, Arunachal Pradesh, and the various other journalism organization. He's also awarded for the best contributor for the MSN India for the Indian language in 2007. He's a YouTube Silver Trophy awarded for the Marathi and Gujarati video channels. And he's also received the Patrikarita Gaurav Award 2020, and is presently working as an editorial head in digital head in Hindi and editorial head of the webdunia.com. Is the webdunia.com is that there's the 8 Indian and regional languages, and the digital media venture of the Indic Media Private Limited. So on behalf of the Parul University, welcome to you, sir. On behalf of the Parul University management, on behalf of the Parul University President, sir, Vice Chancellor, sir, and Registrar, sir, we welcome to you, sir. And my request to you, sir, please enlighten to us, enlighten to our participants, students, and enlighten to journalists and the media educators. Those are the connected with us and participate in this webinar throughout the world and the different part of the state of the country and the various part of the other countries. So now I over to you, sir. Please enlighten us and deliver on today's webinar topic, a future strategy for the media innovation and the trends from the AI to VR. Now I request you, please enlighten you, sir. Again, welcome to you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Rawat sir, and I'll be honored to be a part of Parul University for this program. So as we were discussing that what is media, basically first of all we need to address what exactly the media. So media is not only presenting the news, right? It is not only all about the journalism. Media is a very big and very vast subject which covers a lot of things including entertainment, and nowadays we are seeing the OTT platforms coming in. So when we talk about the OTT platforms, so there are a lot of technological inputs involved in it. So sometime it is very obvious to know what kind of technology, what kind of trends, and what kind of future we are looking into, right? So based on all these inputs, we have decided to present a little talk on the what can be the future strategy for media innovations and what are the trends from artificial intelligence and from the virtual reality. So I hope you like it, because this is a very complex subject and I've tried to keep it simple as much as possible, right? So
yes,
let's
sir.
begin. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hello all. My name is Sandeep Sisodia, and Rawat sir has already introduced a lot about me. So let's begin. So basically, when we look of year 2021, so it will be a very profound and rapidly changing year, because of the COVID situation. There are a lot of restrictions, lots and lots of lockdowns in state wise, and we had to broken all our old habits, and we have to create a new ones. Like for example, we are discussing everything online, we are studying online, we are doing our work online. There are a lot of change. No, you are not able to go to the university campus, but still you are able to study. And I'm pretty sure that you are also using lot many technical techniques and lot many technologies, right? So based on my previous experience and over the years, so this is the year that we'll discover what are the fundamental changes have been occurred, right? So and as we all know that economic is a key of everything. So this is a year of a lot of economic reshaping, where publishers leaning into subscription and e-commerce, right, which is two future facing business model that have been supercharged by the pandemic. So when we talk about the e-commerce, for example, you are consuming a lot of data, right? You are consuming a lot of different devices. Lot many people has purchased lot many mobile devices and laptops and tablets. So in the midst of this pandemic, lot of things are thriving as well, right? So as we say in journalism, that when uncertainty boosts audience for the journalism almost everywhere. If you see entire globe has been affected by this pandemic, and everybody wants to know what is happening, and everybody wants to have something to look forward for, right? So in that terms, publishers like Webdunia, publishers like Deutsche Welle, publishers like BBC, and publishers like any, you name it, everybody is trying to cope up with the situation, and also trying to see how we can evolve ourselves in this difficult year, because there are so much of consolidation. We have to go for a cost cutting, and there will be a lot of, you must have read in case studies that lot of closures of small business. So looking into situation and how to overcome that, media companies are betting on artificial intelligence as a way of delivering more personalized experience and improving production efficiency. You will be amazed to know that over two-thirds, almost 70%, these technologies will have the biggest impact on journalism over the next 5 years. Because based on my discussions with the people, and based on my experience, the new devices which we are using, and upcoming new technology of 5G, so there will be a lot of change, and all the change has to be boosted by the AI. So, for example, many things that AI will benefit big publishers and skilled media professionals. That is very true. Because if you don't know about the latest technique, if you don't know about the technologies and tools we are using for the coming years, so you will be left alone, right? So, disproportionately, most of the people who are not well versed with the technology and with the coming trends will be leaving out in the cold. So, to end the introduction, I can say that while many of us crave a return to normal, the reality is likely to be different as we emerge verily into a world where the physical and virtual coexist in a new ways. For example, you may meeting some of your family members, you may meeting some of your, friends and other people in person, but mostly you are meeting your colleagues, you are meeting your classmates and everybody on mostly on a online, through different cities and different places, right? So first of all, when we talk about the future is already here, and future is based on on to focus on sustainable innovations. As we see the graph and the picture, so 5G is going to roll out in a many places in the world. It's already started, and somewhere it is started testing. So, with the proliferation of new devices, including wearables and smart glasses, wearables, I'm talking about the wearables is kind of smart watches and the personal gadgets people are using for fitness and for the for the health purpose. And smart glasses can connect you to the places, connect you to the things which you have already and you have been never seen in a real life. So it can give you a very good examples. So all this suggests publishers like us that we need to prepare for a future that involves taking content and brands across more and more devices and to distribution channels. So the interestingly, when we talk about the devices, so there are a lot of devices. There are handheld devices, there are wearable devices, there are the smart glasses, and they are the tablets, and they are the phablets. A lot of smart TVs are coming in. So everybody is powered by some kind of data, right? So when we see 1991, in 2G we can only send SMS, and the speed was nothing, it is very less. Then 1998 3G start, when we have the opportunity to introduce ourselves to internet, right? In 4G the game change has been begun. In 2008, we have seen the 4G, where we can do a lot of things other than SMS. We can use internet. We can use video as a calling. So, but when we talk about the 4G, which is going to roll very soon, so apart from internet, apart from high definition video calling, there will be a lot of AI and VR based things like extended reality, uh, augmented reality, virtual reality, and extreme reality. XR is extreme reality. I'll explain what exactly these things are. So based on these things, we had to know what exactly is the artificial intelligence and what is the virtual reality. So when we talk about the definition, so AI is an area of computer science that emphasizes the creation of intelligent machine that works and react like human. So basically we can say that we have to feed some kind of algorithm, some kind of data into machines, and they try to imitate the intelligent human behavior, right? For instance, I'm pretty sure we all are using AI in our daily life, maybe in form of Google, maybe in form of Siri, maybe in form of Alexa, maybe in form of suggestive search or suggestive options. Similarly, virtual reality refers to a computer-generated simulation in which person can interact within the artificial three-dimensional environment using electronic devices such as special goggles with a screen or gloves fitted with sensors. So majorly, there is a perception that virtual reality only goes for an entertainment purpose, right? But we have seen that when we use this virtual reality into the news studios, it has given us a potential to bring more and more audience and viewers, because we were able to present a lot many deep insights. For example, if we talk about the live sports broadcasting, you must have seen the IPL. So every player performance has been turned into a virtual reality. For example, if Mahendra Singh Dhoni is hitting 50 runs, so you have a graph that how many sixes he's hit on the offside, where the ball passed in, where the wicket, you can see the third umpire decisions. So I just wanted to tell you that live sports broadcasting has transformed drastically within last 1 decade. So when we talk about the VR, so VR has been using by a lot many international media organizations. For example, BBC. So BBC is do a program on the football. It is called a match of the day. It perhaps one of the most well versed, viewed program in sports broadcasting. So they have started this VR virtual reality techniques in 2018 when there was a football World Cup in Moscow. So they used it in a live environment. Earlier what happened that we always use VR technology in pre-recorded programs, but BBC has started to do it in a live programs. So basically what they have done is they have used some AR graphics, including life size cutouts of the player and a virtual window with a 3D render of football field. So it is like that, it is given an impression that presenter is among the players, he is standing in the ground itself. So that program was appreciated very well, and now many international organization and many Indian organization also patch into the VR functionality right now. So when we talk about the AR and when we talk about the tools, so why it happening? Because it is innovation. Every era requires an innovation. So artificial sparks more radical experimentation, because of the this COVID time, and because of the work from home, and because of the so many restrictions. So what happened, instead of cutting down the cost, instead of firing the people, major organizations has done how they can change and how they can cope up with the situation. So first of all, they have tried some innovations. So news organization found new ways of remaking existing products or creating entirely new ones in the face of change demand. For example, every time you open a television, you see corona pandemic news. So everywhere you can see a lot of data, everywhere you can see a lot of information. So information is the same. So we faced a very big challenge, that how to present information in a unique way, or in a way where we can engage our users, we can engage our audience. For that, we have to change the formats. We have to change the format of the presentation, visual presentation. We have to change the format of the storytelling. So I have spoken to a few people I know about this, and these are the saying by them. So how AI helped international organizations? So because if we see the CNN, because CNN is a very big media organization, and they just don't present the news. They do a lot of entertainment programs, lot of education program, lot of health series they do. So before starting any program, before start any series, there is a lot of discussion, there is a lot of brainstorming, there is a lot of and end amount of talks. So based on the, so in this pandemic, it is not possible to sit all together and to come on a conclusion that this program we should start, or this program we should not. So they have used some AI algorithms which show them the insight of the user behaviors, user audience behaviors, right? So based on that inputs and some algorithms, they have able to process the decisions very fast, which usually that process that previously have required month of analysis and a long series of meeting, but it is possible in just a few days because they have used AI to analyze the audience data, insight, and user interest. So CNN started a coronavirus podcast. The podcast is available on all Android devices, iOS, and everywhere. Similarly, I have talked to Elena Fischer, who is a head of digital format development at Deutsche Welle. Deutsche Welle is a German-based organization, which is just like a BBC, right? It is founded by a federal government of Germany. So they have said the same thing, that we were able to move much faster and ignore bureaucracy, because if you must know that if you are working with a government organization, there are a lot of bureaucracy, there are a lot of red tapeism, there are a lot of process involved, but they have to curb down the process, and they have come to the conclusion in a very short time, right? Similarly, I have spoken to some industry leader, including Mukul Devichand, who is a executive editor for AI and Voice BBC. So he told me that he has done a very wonderful series in 2019 for general election. So basically, they introduced a chatbot, right? So chatbot, you just have to open BBC's page, and you have to just say, "Hey Google, tell me about the news of general election 2019." So it takes you to BBC page, and they'll tell you a lot of stories, and based on your recommendation, they create a profile of the user, and they send a notification based on the based on the cookies, and based on the artificial intelligence. For example, if Rawat sir is interested in the Rajasthan news, so he'll be getting lot of notification about the Rajasthan, and he'll be getting a summarized weekly summary of Rajasthan election and other things. So everything is possible because they have used artificial intelligence and voice assistance. But at the same time, when we spoke to Sundar Pichai on this, so Sundar Pichai is in the favor of AI, but he said that there are sensitive issues of AI, like there has to be a data privacy, there has to be cybercrime possibility, and it's a most significant that humankind is working on right now. But at the same time, there are a lot of fear and concerns about the harmful application of artificial intelligence and the other technology, because we also know that dynamite can be a tool of destruction, and dynamite can be a tool of construction. For example, any road, we are making any roads in the mountain, we require dynamite to clear the path. But at the same time, when we use the same dynamite into war, it can kill, but it can also build. So like any other technology, it is have a two sides. Similarly, BBC Global News, I have just spoken yesterday to a BBC fellow, and he told me that BBC Global News launched a new smart text-to-speech tool on an international digital online platform. It uses artificial intelligence to convert text articles into speech. and there is a lot of problem in the speech. Dialects are different. Some people understand the British accent, some people understand the US accent, and some prefer to go with Indian accent. So they have used a very good technique which is called a NLP, natural language process. So by using that, they able to convert text into speech with the synthetic voice. That voice is based on your persona profiling. For example, you are an Indian person, so that voice will be an Indian voice, and the accent and dialect will be the Indian English, right? So that is kind of AI and other tools industrial media are using right now. So I have also wrote an article on in 2019, I believe. The heading was the know why artificial intelligence and voice will decide the fortune of digital media. So I have written that artificial intelligence is developing at breathtaking speed, permeating nearly every aspect of life, mostly digital media. Speech assistants can now read out entire books and give desired information. Algorithm deliver tailor-made news bulletins for users, and translation tools help people to overcome language barriers. For example, if you write something on the Facebook comment, you may writing in Hindi or in Gujarati or in Marathi. So you must have seen a little down button of C translation. So when you click on that button, so that basically creates a particular language translation in English. For example, if you return in Hindi that "आप कैसे हैं," so if somebody does not know Hindi, if he click on the C translation button, so it will appear "How are you?" So it is happening because there are a lot of data inputs have been feed into the system. There is algorithm which which use the multilingual language inputs, and it process through AI. So there are a lot of layering and lot of deep learning and lot of machine learning. So that is how this small tools which we are using in everyday life, there is a huge complex system behind it. Secondly, as I started in my early mentions, that journalism or media is not only about journalism. Now OTT platform is coming into picture, uh, where you can have lots and lots of offering in terms of entertainment, in terms of education, in terms of lifestyle content, in terms of course news content, in terms of sports, everything. So for example, Netflix, Amazon, and other internet based platforms have already transcended traditional entertainment medium like TV and cinemas. Right now, I'm not sure when I have seen when I have gone to the cinema hall theater. I don't remember right now. So whatever new release, whatever everything, I am connected to my smart TV or my mobile or any devices, right? So OTT platform has given us a lot of options to watch. It is easy to access, very smart devices, right? So at the same time, we are also forced, media organization like Webdunia or media organization like CNN or BBC is already forced to rethink on the strategy that how they can connect to the OTT platforms. Now you must have seen a lot of news in this Z5 or this Hotstar. They started a news presentation also, and if you see some small players like this. What do you call it? Max Player. Max Player has showing a lot of content which is not generated by the big publishers, not generated by the big studios. It is taking content developed by more and more regional people, of course a good content, right? So there are a lot of chances that OTT platform is doing a lot of change in our lives. So but there is a lot of complex system behind everything in OTT. For example, whenever you open your EPG, which is electronic program guide, which is called, you called it a menu, we called it a EPG. So EPG, when you open certain program, for example, if you open a program on a football, so that system is always remember that X person has liked the football program. So next time whenever you open the screen, you will definitely see a one football related program. So that is because of the machine learning, that is because of the artificial intelligence. Similarly, if we talk about the virtual voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, Cortana, and Samsung Bixby, by in nowadays, you must have seen in your cars, for example, a lot of cars are using their own UFO systems. So basically, that is satellite connected, and they can process some kind of applications for you, some kind of work for you. For example, they can control the AC, they can roll down the windows, they can open the sunroof. So everything is happening because of the AI, right? So AI is touched each and every aspect in each and every part of our life now. So, like I said, that all thanks to the increased use of state of the art devices like smartphone, tablets, and intelligent speakers. So many of the professional activities of journalists are increasing being automated. But at the present, automation is in a chaotic phase with a lot of uncertainties. When we talk about the regional media, so regional media is not well versed or well informed or well connected with the AI or smart tools right now because of the language barrier, right? So I have presented uh, a little small picture that what smart system can do. So a smart system would guess which part of a story to present to whom. For example, someone likes to see very soft story, someone likes to see the motivational story, and someone like to see the educational content. So that is we call the persona. So basically there are 58 points in any person's persona. So AI recognize all the persona, it record each and every behavior. So based on 58 points, or maybe less or maybe more, depends on a person to person and depend on the application which we have been using, right? So the race to come up with the machines and robots that can work on their own has left many people fearful of eliminating jobs and have started considering as a pink slip. But on the contrary, few feel automation as a creative tool to increase the productivity of a journalists and editors. Like we every time we are very afraid of machines, that machines will take the jobs away. That is a very common perception. So I participated in one international seminar in Germany. So I met a very interesting person whose name is Lee Elstrad. She is the head of the content development. Basically, it's a Swedish company, Media. So what Media use? Media is basically a hardcore news agency. So they are 100% on the subscription mode. So I asked how it is possible, because see, news is something which is almost free. When we pick up a newspaper, so newspaper will cost you 2 rupees 50 paisa, but the printing cost is huge. But how they cover it? They cover it because of the revenue, because of the advertise and all. But when we talk about the internet, so almost everything is free, you don't have to pay for it. But this Media has a paid subscription base. And so I said how it is possible. So she told me a very interesting thing, that they divided this operations into two part. One is automated, where the user have to select the interest, and according to that interest, he will be getting served all the notification and all the news, all the information, right? But when he subscribed to the paid media, so paid subscription content has been held by the journalist and editor, manual intervention. So every exclusive story, every good story, every story which needs a lot of inputs from the ground, lot of field reports, is done by the humans, and that is paid. But automatic is totally free. So whatever earnings they are making, so they are making it through the paid subscription, which is done by the human. So it is very kind of it is a combination of robot journalism as well as human journalism. So there are a lot of things going in the market. We just have to go forward, and we just have to innovate, and we just have to think on that, right? So now we come on to the very interesting part, which is the application of AI in the media. So as we have discussed, that the use of artificial intelligence is a very constant, ever evolving in every sector of life. So I'll be presenting a brief overview of application of AI in media. So first of all, we have seen a lot of biased content. Biased content in terms of they can be a fake news, they can be a exponential, and which presenting a lot of facts which is not exactly true. So AI, how to control biasness in AI through AI. So defeating the rising bias in one executing stigma which media has been facing in today's modern world. Everyone has seen that many political parties and many other things have had some social media army, so they can create a lot of, just excuse me, lot of biasness. So the information has to, before it goes to the audience, it has to go through the lot of proof reads and lot of process flows. So where artificial intelligence certainly holds the theater of beginning apprentice in the intelligence of these very biased tests in the same time, it could also be part of its resolution. In various cases, AI assists in reducing the subject interpretation of the data of human, as a machine learning algorithms are trained to only consider the variables which improve their predictive accuracy based on the data used for training. So AI can make a decision like made by humans can be explored, overseen and interrogated. For example, you must have lot heard about this toolkits. So what is toolkits is basically a program where everything is mentioned, that everybody has to do this tweets, everybody has to follow this protocol on the internet. So where so we it is not possible humanly to check each and every tweet, to check each and every WhatsApp message, but AI, for AI it is possible. So what basically AI does, AI is ability to dig through the massive amount of data in a fraction of second, which we as a human can't do. So there AI comes. So for example, if AI alerts me that there's a 1000 tweet which consists the same language, same narrative, so I get a point that it is a same voice divided into various accounts. It can be sourced from the one place, so it can be a biased content for us, right? So a lot of media is using AI in detecting the facts, to check the facts whether it is a biased news or whether it is a true news. For example, let's talk about example of Nowhere. It's a startup news company which is widely known for its impartiality. The company uses a combination of machine learning technology as well as human journalists for creating its news stories. This site uses AI to select a story, taking into account for latest trends. One topic is selected, explores thousands of news sources for gathering content. Irrespective of opinion the source propagate, will also look into the real reliability of the source. Then, on the basis of a research, the AI writes its own non-biased story of the version. So here, things is getting different. Editors and journalists pick up a story and then feed it to a system, and then system decides whether it is a impartial, partial, and based on all the inputs, system AI system will write a story on a non-biased version. Right. At the same time, companies also a pair of human editors reviewing each of story and then feeding the edit back to the AI, which could end up being a major defect for the tech, seeing how AI trend to adopt the biasness of their creators. So I think that is a very complex and technical subject. But when we talk about the fake news and how to counter fake news, that application is doing a lot of help. And now, very interesting part which we all use, the use of AI in social media. So, at the use of social media expands and booms at an increasing rate over the years. So, it also holds artificial intelligence enjoys over it. For example, Facebook. Facebook is entirely based on AI based algorithms. It always takes the always study the behavior of users, right? And it is a massive user base, so it has to have certain tools. For example, the deep learning. So what is deep learning? So learning is a technique that doesn't need any definite data from an image and has an ability to comprehend the context of an image as well as to analyze its content using meta and the text. For instance, for example, if there is a abundance of the tiger images and videos being shared across Facebook, this technique can produce insight to understand the frequency of appearance of the product with these images and video in order to place ads for the people who might like to watch tiger videos. For example, lot many people tend to watch funny videos. So this deep learning method continuously watching your behavior, and if you are seeing a lot of funny videos, definitely you will get a suggestions of lot of funny videos. If you are specifically watching kids funny video, it will show at least 3 to 4 types of funny video. And again, when we are watching that funny videos, it also sees what is your interest area. For example, your interest area in the cars. So in the funny videos of kids, they play the video of cars. It is, everything is based on the AI. So this deep learning is a part of a machine learning. Similarly, the deep text. So deep text is also do the same thing. So it has its own algorithm which understand the context and the comprehend of any meaning which we have written or which we have read. And number three is face recognition. This is very common. Whenever you try to post a picture of two three people, maybe selfie or maybe group photo, so you can see yellow or red squares on the faces, so you can tag your friends. So the technique is used to recognize human face in two or more different images. So this technology accuracy has made it target of much controversy because of certain reasons. For instance, it will identify the people in the picture and suggest you to tag them or share the information of the picture. If, for example, if your friend tag you, so it give you alert that someone has tagged you in a picture, so you can take appropriate decisions, right? So from deep text, deep learning, face recognition uh, techniques, everybody use Twitter. Use it for removing hateful accounts and for any sensitive images, search suggestions and recommended post in Instagram. uh, in fact, LinkedIn also use it. So Twitter recommend, for example, Twitter, there are a lot of things are banned on the Twitter. So how does it do? Basically, it also uses the NLP, natural language processing, to analyze thousands of tweets per second and provide insight to the inclinations to the users. For example, if someone has written some word which is abusive or which is not appropriate, so Twitter will first give it a warning, then they block it. Similarly, they do for removing hateful accounts. For example, if some account is proliferating some religious sentiments or saying some bad things about certain person, so see, Twitter is huge. There are millions of accounts, so it is not possible humanly to see each and everything. But thanks to AI and thanks to the data mechanics, they tend to find it in a very, in fact, in milliseconds. So it's a system in place which which blocked the things. And also it you can have image cropping tools. For example, whenever you post your uh, DP in WhatsApp, in Twitter or Facebook, it always gives you suggestion that you can put it in the center, you can left align, you can right align. So it is all based on small AI technologies. Instagram is also giving you search suggestions with millions of photos being shared on the platform every day. Instagram leaves AI to create each and everything. It can give you good video suggestions, right? And most importantly, LinkedIn, which is a community building site, so it always helps a lot of by recommending jobs, recommending insightful stories, and suggest people of similar interest, and diversifying post or delivering specific post as per the user's interest and as per the user's feed. The third part is AI in automated journalism. So automated journalism is also again robot journalism. So, but basically that is majorly done in the visual journalism. For example, videos, in form of videos. Mostly popular video streaming platforms, Spotify, Netflix, are accomplished as they supply content to people from all the demographies who are having various preferences and tastes. Such platforms adopt AI and machine learning algorithms for studying individual behaviors and demographies to suggest what the users can have interest in viewing or listening or after their present videos, ensuring that they are constantly kept engaged. Therefore, these AI-based platforms offer user content catering to their particular preferences, facilitate them with a profound customized experience. For example, if you want to see a Russian series, so they provide you very good closed caption subtitling. So subtitling is can be done by the automated process. You don't have to write each and everything. You just have to enter a source file which consists of Russian text, and it convert into a English or whatever language you want. Definitely there has to have some human checking, but major 80% job is done by the machine itself, by the feeding system, by the AI algorithm. Only just have to go through the editor's eye to, so that minor errors can be corrected. With human translation also being largely skilled for years, media platform adopt AI-based technology such as NLP and natural language generation. So, for instance, YouTube AI permits its publisher to automatically generate closed video captions added on the application, ensuring that their content is easily reachable. For example, video does not have any language. For example, if you are using some video which is animated video, right? So animated video can be used for any language. So there will be a tool for automatic closed captioning. They work on a two system. One, they identify the image, what images are, and based on the image story they create a story of their own and that put it in the closed captioning. Second, you feed one source language into closed captioning and that convert into different languages, right? So how it works? First of all, it predict audience interest. Second, it optimize and monetize. What is monetization? Monetization when we try to get any revenue in form of advertisements, right? Second, it understanding audience disengagement. For example, skip video, skip in 1 3 4 2 1. So once you skip in 1 second or 2 second, so it decide the role of advertisements. If certain advertisement has been closed within 1 or 2 seconds, so it won't show it to users. So they deprioritize, right? So you won't see that uh, advertisement again. So coming to the end of the presentation, so what will be the actionable takeaways? So nowadays journalists will get out of the office more because we are free by the technology to deliver more to more face to face reporting, becoming one more embedded in communities. There are a lot of AI tools, like whenever we go for a live with Facebook or YouTube, we can definitely go for a geotagging. It detects our location, right? We are right now we are connected through this Google Meet. We may connect through Zoom. So all we have to do is we have to get out to the office, we have to sit at home, we have to sit at a coffee shop, we can connect to anyone in the world now. Second, online video becomes a key focus of concern around misinformation, where the rise of hyper partianism, opinion-led channels, and video podcasts distributed by platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and so their AI and other tools will help you to bifurcate and prioritize the videos, whether it is a good, bad, or fake. AI and VR continues to be a bright spot for media. With strong innovation in content and business model, expect to see an increasing focus on paid podcast and platform payments, widening the range of monetizing options. So ultimately, everybody is working for the money. So until unless to we have to generate some kind of revenue, then only we can sustain our business. uh, Last but not the least, that AI provides for all the insights that are needed for any industry to attract its loyal customers. As the companies are able to fetch data based on the various categories like age, location, language, etc., they can channelize and improvise the customer behavior to keep them engaged. The same algorithm can be helpful to the e-commerce business, as these platforms can serve as one of the best retargeting and advertisement platforms. This is obviously a background and a complex process, but this plays a crucial role in formulation of the media and entertainment companies. So the conclusion is ki whether AI has its own pros and cons. If the industry fail to seek off its risk, it may lead to dire consequences. We all admit that format of AI in the future is still unknown, and thus it demands more research and regulation. But undoubtedly, digital media is in transformation mode. So pick up your phone, say hi Google, hi Siri, and get connected to the world of information and innovation. Similarly, you can drop a mail to me on my Skype, on my Google WhatsApp number, everything. So that is the AI works for us. So that is the end of the presentation. So back to Ramesh sir.
now stop your screen share.
Sure.
Okay, sir. So
Yeah.
now is the time for the question and answer,
Sure,
and
sir.
we have the questions from the participant side. The first question is the what is the most important technical challenges in the virtual reality?
So, like I said, the most important challenge is virtual reality, when and where it to apply it. Right? You cannot apply VR everywhere. It has to have a specific interest. You have to see the user interest. See, for example, I'll tell you one very good example. WHO has been using this VR to explain the coronavirus, how it spreads, how it works. So it is a very good kind of VR. So in education purpose, in live sports broadcasting, it is best to apply it. But at the same time, it is very challenging because you need to have a lot of brains with you. You have to have a skilled people with you. So VR is a very tough, but every VR has to have a story. So a story editor or journalist has to write, and then based on that, you can do a VR.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And how does the artificial intelligence impact on the cyber security?
Basically, for example, if you use Paytm, right? So Paytm also works on a AI based. For example, it's first of all what you, for example, if you entering some number to pay someone, so it will show you the name of the person, whether you have been connected, or it can also show you it is a Hawks account. You can either see a green tick or either see a red false button. So AI is a very good tool to identify cyber frauds. Again, if you open any site which does not have HTTPS protocol, so nowadays your system throws an error message that it is a harmful site. So it is, everything is based on the AI, because see sir, AI is based on the human inputs. So we have to tell them that you have certain rules, certain algorithms to follow, then AI works for us. So it is a very
Okay,
helpful.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And so, what is the comparison between the AR, VR, and the TUI, the tangible user interface, and
Tangible
the virtual
user
reality?
interface is a little bit different, and augmented reality is something which gives you 3D and more immersive experience, and virtual reality is, for example, you can also be a part of virtual reality when you are using some wearable goggles, smart goggles, or something like that. So basically, when we are playing some games on PS4 or something like that, or some stimulators. So VR is much more effective, and augmented reality is very good in form of education purpose.
And sir, what is the use of the artificial intelligence in scientific research in the education?
See, basically, when we talk about the vaccination, so vaccination is entirely depend on the cycles. So we have to run a lot of cycle. So humanly, it is not possible to run different cycles in a very short time of span. We must know that this corona vaccine has been created in a record time. So AI helped this a lot. So in health sector, in education sector, and the financial sector, because there are a lot of data processing, and there's billions, trillions of bits and pieces of data, which is not possible for human brain to analyze. So AI plays a very crucial role in that, and very helpful indeed.
So you told about the financial sector, so it also connect with the share market.
Yes, definitely, sir. So share market is totally predictable because of the AI. For example, it sees that in 1990, these situation happened, and these shares perform well or this share crashes. So based on that input, the AI calculate the risk and tells you. For example, you must be using some online tools for share trading and all. So it is, everything is based on the AI and ML. So it gives you solution,
And
it's give you a lot of analysis in forms of graphs and charts and projections.
And sir, how we can use the AI in the media education, portraying to the teachers and the students?
So you have to, first of all, you have to find out if your system is collaborated with the tools and technology which is required to adopt by the AI, or vice versa. For example, if you if you want to have a robot teacher or a chatbot, where kind of, for example, lot of, if you can see, lot of online classes are using this chat box, and nowadays they are using this chat box. For example, if someone is writing a similar question, for example, I am studying in class 12th, uh, physics, chemistry, maths, what would be my future aspirations. So there will be a single set of answers for at least 1000 questions and 2000 questions. So their chatbots which based in AI, which uses AI as a background thing, so it is very helpful.
And sir, what are the effects of the software design on the sickness in the virtual reality?
Can you elaborate that question?
Elaborate means what are the effects of the software design on
Yeah.
sickness in the virtual reality?
So basically, see, when you talk about the software design, so we call it a UI, user interface. So user interface is the most important thing. It has to be very easy. First of all, it has to be very easy to navigate. Second, visual appeal. Number one. Second, it has to have a very easy navigation. For example, step 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. The breadcrumbs, that menu which you call menu, we call it sometimes a breadcrumbs. So it has to be very very systematic, because once you land onto some other page, you have to come to the main page, right? And then some pop-up comes, then it is a kind of a very complex situation. But AI and the visual impact, the visual learning can help it in a lot.
And sir, how we can use the artificial intelligence and virtual reality in the social reforms?
Social reforms, for example, just to show people what is good and bad. For example, there are a lot of misinformation is roaming around that if you do this, corona will won't happen. If you put a few drops of lemon in your nose, it won't help, right? So first of all, we have to identify what kind of information we want to give it to the people, or what kind of information we are trying to counter. So based on good VR models or simulators, we can do a lot of things. You must see the UNICEF and WHO are using lot of AI in VR nowadays. If you go to their Instagram page, you can see a lot of things. And number one is World Economic Forum. If you see the World Economic Forum page, so they do a lot of 1 minute videos, which is very insightful and very useful.
And sir, the virtual reality, any kind, this is a kind of the software, or what is the exact thing in that?
Basically, virtual reality it's a term, right? So it requires a 3D animation softwares and tools, and very high skilled people to create it.
Okay, can you more elaborate about that?
So basically, to become a virtual reality maker, you have to learn through professional courses, right? For example, any CGI, computer graphics, right? Animations, 3D animations, right? And what do you call it? It has to have a lot of input from the AI, which is machine learning, because sometimes you need to feed a lot of data to create a picture, right? And they're sequencing. So it's a purely technical and computer process.
Okay, and sir, what do you think about the career opportunity in the field of the artificial intelligence and the
Huge,
virtual
huge, endless,
reality?
endless, endless opportunity.
What kind of?
See, basically all the research, all the background, for example, if you are doing a website, if you want to renovate your website of Paral University, and you want to have some AI tools, right? So because there will be a very generic things. For example, you have 1,50,000 students in the Paral University. So there may be a chances that 10,000 people can ask the same question, but it is not possible for you that within a very short time you can answer all the questions. So in that thing, AI can help you a lot. right? So if a person is doing some data analytics or some AI, so there are a lot of job opportunities in every field, I believe. Health, education, media, entertainment. Entertainment is the field where AI is using like anything nowadays. Because see, when we talk about the film Bahubali is 80% made on a computer graphics. So AI helped, because see, for example, you cannot gather 1 lakh people in a small set. So they multiplied through the maybe virtual reality, some artificial intelligence, or some cropping of the same image again and again. So it is a lot of layering of the image. So everything is combined by the some tools and technologies where AI helped a lot.
So it means you want to say that the artificial intelligence and virtual realities will also connect with the some kind of the editing softwares
Yes,
like
yes,
the
yes, definitely.
VFX and the
Yes,
Final Cut Pro like that.
yes, that is what I explained in when I talked about the AI in journalism and AI in social media. They are using it, sir.
Yes.
And believe me,
And
yeah, this YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, they have a very good AI platforms with them.
okay. So any specific course for that, for the
There are lot of.
artificial intelligence and the
There are lot
virtual
of. See,
reality?
artificial intelligence is a very big umbrella, sir.
Okay.
So it consists of a lot of things. Data, because you have to you have to see the data. You have to have interest in the statistics, data. You have to have interest in the computers. So it's a basically it's a very bigger umbrella. And then most of the time you cannot say that person is very well versed in AI. They must be in some field of some branch of AI.
Okay, thank you very much. It is very nice discussion. It's already 3:56,
Yeah.
and this is the 1 hour webinar, and we are near about to complete this webinar. It's already in your 45-minute talk and 10 to 12-minute interaction in the question answer session. Before the ending this webinar, I want to put the concluding remark. So,
So
sir, in the beginning,
before so
you
sir,
told
give me a minute to
yes, please,
give a brief.
of course, sir.
So
Yes,
basically, this whole topic, as I said in my start of the presentation, this is a very complex and very this is something which maybe I am not able to explain it very well, or maybe there are a lot of many questions coming after some time, right? So it is not possible to elaborate so many things, explain so many things in a 45 minutes. So I tried my best. I am not sure whether you like it or not, but this is the reality, and this is the future of media, or and future of everything, I can say.
yes, sir. Agreed with you, sir. This is your master talk and the wonderful session, and there's no limit
Thank
for
you.
the discussion. And in media field and the digital media, this is
Yes.
the very wide field, and we can continuously organize the number of the webinar, and we cannot cover the such kind of the topics, sir.
Sure, sir.
So finally, sir, you told in the beginning about the OTT platform, e-commerce, and the 5G technology, focus on the sustainable innovations. And you also told about the journey from 2G to 5G and the extend reality like AR, VR, and XR, and the match of the days program and the BBC. You got the example
Hmm.
of the BBC at that
Yes,
time,
sir.
and told about the innovation at the spark of the more radical experimentation. And you also told about the podcast and the new smart text and text to speech tool. This
Yes.
kind of the software and experiment is done, or maybe in the process, but some kind of the problem is there. Some kind of the British accent, Indian accent is come like that. And you also told us about the NLP, national language, and you told the change in the life due to the OTT platform, and so many changes in our life due to the OTT platform. And you also told about the virtual voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant and Cortana, etc. And you told about the multimedia company work when you went at the Germany, and you told that you share your experience about the multimedia company and the application of the AI in media, and you told the AI used for the check fact and the bias news and the true news. In that part we can use of the AI. And you also explain about the fake news and how we can check the fake news with the help of the AI and the various other tools and techniques. Use of the AI in the social media, you told about in the Facebook, like the deep learning in part of the deep text, in part of the face recognition. And in part of the Twitter, you told about the NLP and the removing hateful the account, how we can remove the such kind of the things, and the image cropping account. And in Instagram, you told about the search suggestions, and in LinkedIn, you explain about in part of the job and the in connection of the recommendations and the job opportunity and the recommendation. And you finally you told about the AI automated journalism. So we thank you very much, sir. You elaborate widely on today's webinar topic: a future strategy of the media innovation and the trends artificial intelligence to virtual reality.
Sure.
And definitely, sir, this wonderful session and master talk is enlightened to us, enlightened our participants, students, and media professionals and the media educators. So we thankful to you, sir, and we want to see you again and again on this PU webinar platform. Not only on webinar platform, we want to see you physically in our university and interact with our students, sir. So I again thank you very much, sir, on behalf of the Parallel University and on behalf of the Parallel University management, on behalf of the Parallel University presidents, vice chancellors, and registrars, sir. And in this connection, I also thankful to our technical team. They always ready to conduct such kind of the wonderful webinar.
It is very helpful. Thank you.
Without any kind of the technical glitches, you can see that, sir. Yes, my network is gone, but their network is always there, sir.
Yes, sir.
And they conduct such kind of the wonderful webinar. Also thankful to our entire faculty members. They promote such kind of the webinar among the students, faculty members, media teachers, media educators, and journalists. And thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure. It's honor. Thank you,
sir, for wonderful talk and your master talk, sir. And we want to see you again and again, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.